US Marine artillery and aircraft, supported by 18 rounds fired from the American battleship Missouri. The target was an area of the Iraqi front line identified by intelligence sources as a massing area for tanks, artillery, armored vehicles and personnel.
We thought that there was a good opportunity for us to take them on, and so we, working with our coalition partners and the Navy, we were able to develop a pretty extensive combined arms attack on these targets.
The Americans described the attack as well orchestrated and executed, and said communications between the land, naval and air forces had been good. The Allies appear to regard it as an effective rehearsal for the more extensive combined operations which lie ahead. At several briefings, the Allied forces have reported being told by enemy prisoners of war of so-called Iraqi execution battalions.
People wandering through the units in squad-type formations, executing those that are listening to prohibited channels, radio channels, or trying to escape to the south or leaving their assigned areas.
Iraqi prisoners have reportedly told the Allies that soldiers caught doing this are shot quite openly, so the message goes along the whole front line.
Saudi Desert, 2 Royal Navy air squadrons wait for war. When fighting on land begins, the Sea King helicopters will be used to move to and from the front line, carrying casualties to field hospitals. For the time being, their biggest enemy is the hostile environment they have to operate in. Regular sandstorms mean equipment has to be constantly overhauled to ensure it's ready for action. Decoy flares will provide some cover when the helicopters evacuate the injured. This unit would normally be carrying out exercises in freezing conditions in Norway up to their knees in snow. Regular deliveries of letters keep morale high. Writing home helps pass the time. Keeping occupied is an important factor in these tense days as the men here wait for the order to go into battle.
At the moment, it just seems like any exercise to us. I mean, we're keeping on top of the work. But the morale's quite good at the moment from what intelligence we're getting. As soon as we come into a ground move, I think we'll cheer up a bit more.
The unit's been at its current location for a number of days now. Time for the men to handle the more routine jobs, although they know they could be told to move at any time.
And if the ground war does eventually begin, one thing the Allies shouldn't run short of is ammunition. At one of Britain's 2 main arms supply depots, spread over more than 20 acres in the Scottish borders, staff are working flat out to move out to the Gulf everything from small arms rounds to Challenger tank shells.
Since we started being actively involved before Christmas, we have done about a normal year's work in 2 months.
Also now out in the Gulf are laser targeting designators like these, which for the first time have been fitted to RAF Tornadoes to help accelerate the precision bombing of bridges and supply routes in what the Allies continue to describe as a target-rich environment. But the time will come when Allied ground forces will have to be used to shift the bulk of the Iraqi army from Kuwait.
We will know, as a result of our continuous assessment, which takes place every day, we assess the battlefield. We assess our attack on those targets that we have identified within the battlefield. We'll know when the right day is, if in fact we decide to execute a land campaign.
And the Allies are understandably keen to keep the Iraqis as much in the dark as possible.
It's really a matter, of course, at the end of the day, of achieving tactical surprise. But our object, of course, is to keep the enemy guessing as much as possible and to continue right now with the air campaign, which is having considerable success in reducing his overall capability to fight.
The weather could also play a part in setting the date for the ground offensive. Rain and sandstorms will give way in a few weeks to searing desert heat, almost unbearable conditions for troops in chemical protection suits. But Allied commanders stress they won't risk the lives of ground forces until the air bombardment has run its course.